Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition All Skills Tournament. My name is Voligen. I'm here tonight with Grimelios, and we are bringing you the first matchup in our round of 8 or quarterfinal round. In the Kuro division, we have got for you the number 4 seed Trojandude12 versus the number 5 seed XepiccatX. Grim, how are you doing tonight, and what do you think in general about this match?
Dude, I have so many thoughts going through my head right now. First of all, huge shout outs to Richard for that amazing new intro. Won't harp on it for now because we have information to get through, but oh my goodness, I watched it like an hour ago and my mind was kind of blown. But anyway, yeah, we have this match today between Trojan and Epiccat, who we sometimes call Bob, even though his actual name is Brian. Trojan is the number 4 seed and Epiccat is number 5 seed. So I think it'd be fair to say that any round of 8 match is going to be pretty close, and this match is no exception. Hesitating almost as to where to start, so we've got all these stats to go through. Probably one of the most interesting pieces to talk about is that both of these guys PB today, and I just think that's really fantastic. Trojan got a 33-14, and then Epiccat, excuse me, got a 32-15, helped in large part by the new grenade jump strats right at the end of the run, but even so, that's a fantastic time.
Indeed, both of them absolutely they weren't even grinding for attempts at this point. Epiccat was doing races with a bunch of other community members just for fun, and he managed to pull out a 32-15, which is absolutely crazy. That is his first PB with the new grenade jump strats, I believe. And Trojandude, meanwhile, he was just warming up for the race, and in his no reset practice, he got his 3-second PB, which is still nothing to shake a leg at. But I guess we've talked to both of these runners. We kind of have a good idea about kind of where they are, where their mental game is at right now. Grim, tell us a little bit about Trojandude. What are we going to see from him tonight?
Sure. So for anyone who's watched other matches in this tournament with the legendary Dude 12, Trojan's strategy is just his consistency. We've always talked about how he's consistent, and sort of no matter who he's against, he just sits down and is going to do his own run to the best of his ability. That's not to say that he's not going to try to improve and adopt new strats, but he's going to just do his own game, and that's proven very successful. I mean, he's made it this far. So generally speaking, Trojan thinks that Epiccat is maybe slightly more inconsistent than himself, although that's not to say that he doesn't take the match seriously and doesn't take Epiccat seriously as an opponent. He very much does. Probably one of the more interesting things that maybe we can touch on as we start the race here, but up until this past weekend, I would have always told you that I would expect Epiccat to take the early lead. Not so much the case anymore since he did the early game clinic with you this past weekend. So that will hopefully, let Trojan save a handful of more seconds, give himself a better chance at coming away with the victory. I'll let you talk a little bit about the path that Trojan has taken in terms of who he's had to face, and we can talk about Bob's stats as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll give a quick rundown of how these two runners both got here. Trojandude, of course, in the very first race of the tournament, opening us up with his match against Terra. He managed to come away with a victory in a very unusual way, where Terra opted not to go for a trick called Fast Stompless, and Trojan did go for it, which is kind of out of character for him, being more likely to go for a risky trick than another runner, especially a runner like Terra. But he managed to take that victory. Of course, in his group, his other matchups against Skyfo and Nidrel were pretty much straightforward for him. No problems whatsoever. In the bracket, he was able to take his round of 32 match against Snoopy MK Wee by around 10 minutes. And then he went in the hotly contested race against Roos. The Roos is loose 89 himself, and he managed to edge him out by about a minute and a half, with Roos just not quite being able to beat Trojan's consistent, steady game. So here we are now. Epiccat, on the other hand, probably having slightly overall easier opposition over the course of the tournament. He started his tournament against the Roos is Loose in a meme-filled contest, which he managed to win by about a minute and a half, so they have that in common. But even at that time, Epiccat's, even though he was seated second in that group, he already had a better PB at that point than Roos, just due to the different ways they had prioritized their speed games at the time. He managed to defeat Smashfully and Mr. Randomson, and then in the bracket, he managed to defeat Nidrel and Mr. Randomson again to get here. And I think that It's possible that maybe Trojan's level of opposition that he's had over the course of the tournament so far might give him a slight leg up in terms of that mental game in a race like this. But we did talk to XepiccatX. We got some of his thoughts about this race. And Grim, why don't you tell us about that?
Right. It's so tricky to try to predict these matches at the point where everyone is so good in this tournament. I think you take anyone in the top 8 or even to a lesser extent in the top 16, you face them against each other and someone could pull away with a quote unquote upset. So we mentioned that Trojan being so consistent is just going to try to sit down and play his own game. To that end, he's not really going to be watching the restream. He will just be sort of checking on the SRL chats, I guess, if something goes drastically wrong and he needs to be notified. But otherwise, he's going to be full quarantine mode, just playing his match. XepiccatX also feels very confident about his chances. He got his 32-15 earlier today, so clearly he is not only confident, but he's proven that he can execute on those skills and get the good times. On paper, his PP is roughly a minute faster now, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. The other thing about XepiccatX that may or may not be relevant is that he's been busy with IRL. I know it's shocking to think that there is a life that exists outside of running Ori, but there is. And Bob's been very busy with exams and whatnot, and so he might be a little bit more stressed. Again, I don't know if that'll actually affect the race, but that's maybe something to consider.
Yeah, you never really know in a situation like this what aspects of that mental game is going to matter, whether it's if you're stressed out about stuff that's going on in real life, is that going to help you or hurt you as you kind of get out of that mindset and start playing the video game? I know personally in my race against Odie, the shenanigans that we had at work with a WoW patch that we released actually kind of helped me, but that's not the same for everybody. So we'll see how that goes, as we should be getting started in the very near future here.
I'm really, really excited for this.
And here we go. I don't see any color codes, I gotta say. Oh, wait, is that one on Trojan's side?
It's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one. We got one.
Yeah, we'll say that it is. Good job, Trojan. So as we get started, this, of course, is the point in the game where, as we mentioned, we previously would have assumed that Brian would be a little more likely to take an early lead, but Trojan's done a fair bit of work on his early game. It's one of the areas where he knows he has the biggest amount of time to save easily, I guess, so to speak, compared to some of the later sections of the game. We'll see how he's able to do with that.
I wanted to actually, you just mentioned that, but I wanted to throw it back to you for a second. What are some of the kind of optimizations that you worked on with Trojan?
Well, there's a number of little things, as they're both picking up Spirit Flame here, their attacking ability, and we'll be watching this brief cutscene. There's a number of little things that are kind of fairly easy to do, but also kind of just require a little bit of thinking and work. And mostly those involve things like jumping over the slimes in the early game without turning back around. Doing an optimal fight against these Frankies, which Trojan does not quite pull off. He had a missed shot there. Just cost him about a second, maybe a second and a half. Gosh, even 2 seconds possibly. That was kind of rough. I'm surprised there was that much time lost from that mistake. Here's another one, that frame perfect jump over that bramble there. Trojan was able to pull off. XepiccatX turning back over that slime, whereas Trojan just keeps on running. So little things like that are the kind of things that we worked on, and just they help you, in addition to save a second here or there, they help you feel confident in the early game, and that really helps.
I agree. I think one of my favorite things about this game, which I think could be said for any speed game, is you could watch someone who's pretty experienced at the game, and you might have no idea how it's possible to save an additional few seconds on, especially something like the first split, because you have your movement abilities, I should say, are so limited. You can just run and jump. You might think, how can you possibly save more time? But at this level, both of these guys are really going to be fighting for every single second. And so I'm sure not only does Trojan, well, it's not that he necessarily needs the time, but he'll take any time save that he can get. But as you mentioned as well, that'll just help his confidence going forward. Both of these guys are going for 4 health as expected. I know that XepiccatX was doing some races earlier, and Rule, I believe you told me that for every single race he did with 4 HP as he usually does, he got sub 34. He also attempted some 3 HP races, and they went not as well because only madmen go for 3 HP.
Yeah, XepiccatX, he definitely seems like he wants to play this at least a little bit safe. Doesn't want to do something that's just completely ridiculous and out of his normal game plan. No problem damage boosting through the wall there. Trojan having a little bit of spaghetti on this split, actually, and so he's kind of coming in a little bit slow. It might be the case that because he learned some of these optimizations a little more recently, they're not fully ingrained in his muscle memory yet, and so he wasn't quite able to take advantage of them. XepiccatX coming in here looks like on the order of 5 seconds of a lead at the moment.
It's a bigger lead than I would have expected, to be honest, this early. But yeah, thankfully, thankfully with plenty of time to come back. As always, he'll take whatever lead you can get, but Ori is a very fickle creature. Anything could happen.
That is for sure. We are now heading back out from wall jump, the first real skill kind of in this run. XepiccatX is picking up his XP to get his first level up and blow up all those brambles and get them out of the way. There's a little bit of a flub on movement there. It's not going to set him behind Trojan yet. Trojan executing that movement very confidently. No Trojan log for him. That is another little thing that we worked on over the course of the weekend. I know it's a little bit awkward for me to be talking about this thing that I did with this one runner, but it's just part of his training that he has done. So it's not just me hyping myself up or anything.
Oh no, I mean it is very relevant to the race, and you can see it, as you mentioned. That movement is very, very clean. It's something that might not be as apparent if you're not as familiar with the speed run, but for people who have watched a lot of these runs, you can really tell there's a difference between someone just sort of, this is such an odd phrasing, but there's a big difference between casually getting good at the speed run and really sitting down and optimizing those half seconds and seconds here and there. That's what can really drive your time down. Agreed.
And I know that Trojan, as a runner, he's not a huge fan of just IL practice. IL standing for individual level, of course. And in the context of this game, it just means practicing a single section kind of obsessively. He's not really a fan of that. He doesn't enjoy it a whole lot. So for him to do that was kind of out of character, but you can also see that it had a very significant benefit for him rather quickly.
Right. I would agree. Both of these guys getting into Blackroot Burrows, another area where, and I really hope I don't curse anyone by saying this, but another area where it would be very, very easy to take a death, kind of no matter your skill level. You have to do lots of rather precise platforming, and if you make mistakes and fall into the spikes, you tend to just take a nice, juicy spike bubble bath, and there's not a lot you can do about it. It can be very, very costly, and hopefully we don't see any of that. Looks like they both got past the initial room of spikes. Now they get to go into the projectile room. Looks like XepiccatX keeping roughly the same lead as he had at wall jump. So no mistakes. There
was a slight difference thanks to Trojan's very clean movement coming back. I think it was on the order of 3 seconds total at the end, that difference. But yeah, pretty much still about where we would have expected them to be. Trojan right there coming along, both of them having no problems getting the right laser cycle. And so they are both still in the exact same differential.
Interesting to me to see both of those guys take a safety save. It's a safety save that you should always take because it costs you nothing, because pretty soon they're going to be picking up dash and all their energy is refilled anyway. But it's one that it's sort of very easy to forget to take that safety save, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And the one at the top here, it doesn't make that huge of a difference, but it's just one of those ones. Why not drop it? Feel free. Trojan's cycle manipulation seemed pretty... I think the word I want is probably docile, but it was actually probably more docile than docile. So he lost probably another second or two to XepiccatX right there, who had a very aggressive manipulation, and who will be dropping his orb shortly. Kind of a mediocre orb drop there. That how long that orb takes to drop for you is effectively random. And Trojan got about the same speed, so that does not cause any difference, and that's probably the last major bit of RNG for quite a while here.
All in all, I'm very happy to see this early game. As expected, even the Trojans work on the early game with you, which has paid off. XepiccatX still with a very slight lead, although his lead is so slight that it's hard to make too many predictions about it. Costs in the mid to late game can cost you, oh my goodness, 30 seconds to even a minute in some of the worst cases. So really can't make too many predictions about the race yet.
We're definitely hoping not to see any of those, but of course we'll see. Difference is around 7 seconds right now, as XepiccatX was able to get a little bit more time from that more aggressive manipulation, but otherwise it's still very close. We are now going to see both runners beginning their Frankie walk momentarily. We will not be seeing any fast Frankie walk because both of these runners want to actually finish this run. But in addition, their XP count's probably not correct for that anyway. But we will be seeing some good old-fashioned frog kiting. So far, so good on both sides.
What do we know about the death glide for both of these guys?
I'm going to guess that neither runner is going for it. I know Trojan Dude hates the death glide with a passion, and I'm pretty sure that Brian does not go for it in his runs. XepiccatX, that is, in case I ever refer to him as Brian or Bob or some other weird name like Bartholomew. Just know that it's a community meme because we are a bunch of giant meme lords, and we are not seeing the death glide here, so no surprise there.
Not only is it not a surprise, it's a pretty risky trick, and depending on exactly how you get through the poison water, the death glide is not that hard to do, but it's pretty tricky to execute without taking damage, and it's pretty easy to come out of the poison water at 1 health sometimes, and the death glide only saves about a second or something like that. It's not much.
We are getting confirmation from the truck that there's actually no risk. The death glide is literally free. Early grotto cycle attempt by XepiccatX, and he did not get it. Trojan Dude is going to go for it here. He's had mixed success with this as well, and he's not able to get it either, so no difference there in that trick, which I believe both of these runners are around 50% of the tournament, so neither of them is particularly successful on this trick so far.
If Trojan had been able to pull that off, they would have been very, very close to died. I don't know whether it's exactly 7 or 8 seconds or whatever between them, but it'd be very, very close. XepiccatX was able to take some intentional damage to do a ghost ore. Trojan did exactly the same. XepiccatX did his little turn jump in the air to save a little half second or whatever.
Oh my. XepiccatX missed the save drop in order to get the cutscene glitch on this tree here, whereas Trojan got it. So Trojan's going to be doing some blind movement. He will be catching up a little bit to XepiccatX right here. Just do that little flub.
The other thing about missing the blind movement there is that you have to make sure that you get the skill that you were supposed to. So yeah, I hope that Brian remembers that he has to do that.
I would anticipate that for a run of his experience level, he will remember. The most common place to learn Rekindle once you have forgotten to do that or failed to do that double jump is up here right after Grotto Skip, which is a first try for XepiccatX. Very nice. He has that a couple times in the tournament where he has taken 3 attempts to get that, but this time no problem. And he does remember to learn Rekindle. That is the most common place to learn it if you've failed the double jump.
Trojan also got a first try Grotto Skip, which is consistent with his consistency.
Indeed. How many times has he missed Grotto Skip in this tournament?
It's hard to say. I want to say it's between 0 and 0.
Yeah, that sounds right, approximately, give or take.
Yeah, give or take about 0. All jokes aside, he's gotten it. Is that accurate? Yeah, I think he's gotten it first try every time. That is... Grotto Skip is not an incredibly hard trick. It's not a very risky trick, but getting it first try every time is still very impressive.
This is still an extremely close race, as both runners executed very cleanly in the rockfall section, and they're both also making pretty clean movement going up here to the top of Grotto to exit through the iceless area, as we call it. And I think this is fairly, again, to use this word, which we'll probably use a lot today, fairly consistent with what we expected from this race.
Let's have our truck keep a count of how many times you say consistent. I'm going to guess it's a lot.
I don't know if the truck is going to be capable of keeping up with counting that.
I just don't think numbers go that high. We did get word
from the truck that the answer is nope, not doing that. Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, Trojan has narrowed the gap a little bit compared to what he was before. Previously, he was at roughly 8 seconds behind. Now I think he's somewhere around 5 seconds behind. So gaining a little bit of time. Overall, both XepiccatX and Trojandude playing very, very clean. The XepiccatX, you see, going into a section where he has to take a quick detour to go activate a spirit well. It might look odd if you're unfamiliar with the speedrun. He's just going to kind of touch it and turn around. The reason is that you have to teleport back there later, and all you need to do to activate the little spirit well is to stand on it.
Indeed, and now they're going to both head up to the Ginso door, the first of 2 dungeons that they will do in this speedrun. XepiccatX glitching out that cutscene by saving and then rekindling his save after entering it. Trojandude doing the same. So they're both going to enter Ginso at pretty decent times here. XepiccatX 12:30, Trojandude with a 12:37. So again, it's that 7-second difference. He is not going anywhere. And the scary thing about this, I think, for Brian, if he's watching the restream, which I believe that he is Trojandude is extremely good at the late game. He is not the best in the world or anything, but oh my goodness,
Oh no.
wow. That is a death for Brian, and he was attempting to go for telehops and just could not pull it off, tried to switch to normal room climb strats, and he took a death there. And that is going to send him back to the beginning of Ginso, so he is now significantly behind Trojandude, and he's going to be relying on some of the later game strats, which, as I was just saying, Trojandude is very good at.
Man, that room in the, or I should say that death in the second room is particularly costly because unless you made a safety save, which is also a free safety save, but most people, including myself, forget to make it. If you take a death there, the camera gets all messed up and janky in the first room of Ginso, and you have to exit, wait for a little cutscene for a second or two, and then enter. So it's even more costly than just the death alone.
We do see XepiccatX going for the Mr. Asmus cycle, and getting that looks pretty good. So that will save a tiny bit of time, 0.5 seconds or so, compared to Trojan doing it the normal way. Trojan now comes into the mini-boss. This does have the possibility of helping XepiccatX catch up a little bit. Trojan's execution on this mini-boss, he mostly goes for timed shots, about 0.3 seconds apart, whereas XepiccatX has the benefit of using the mouse wheel setup. So he may be able to save a little time, possibly even a cycle on this mini-boss. He gets trolled by the bottom right spawn there. Ooh.
Right. This mini-boss is one of the major sections of RNG in the run. And when I say major, it doesn't lose you that much overall, but in terms of Ori, it is the most RNG area in the run. I think that's fair to say. And so, as you mentioned, XepiccatX got trolled a little bit by a bad boss spawn. Not too bad, though. Trojandude in the room right before Bash, he'll take an intentional damage boost to set up a ghost door, and XepiccatX not that far behind. I didn't do the timing, but it seems like he may be caught up a little bit.
Yeah, we got word from the truck. 9 seconds was the difference upon completing the mini-boss, and when coming into Bash, we might actually be seeing even less than that. My goodness.
I'm not sure what caused that. Was that a less than optimal fight from Trojan, or did XepiccatX just play very, very cleanly after his death?
I think one of the big differences between Trojan and other runners is that Trojan's overall gameplay is extremely solid, but individual bits of movement optimization are not quite there in his gameplay, and that's fine because he offsets those with extremely good late game performance. Like, his late game is extremely strong, but early game here we're seeing that some of his plays, XepiccatX's able to gain a second here or there by just playing slightly more cleanly. He has some of those optimizations down just a little bit more.
Now, Trojan did practice and executed correctly the fast key dupe where you aim your bash in a precise way and land in the spikes immediately rather than having to land and do a little Irish jig to land in the spikes. The placement on your death there is actually pretty precise. So if you can take the quick death, it's not only fast, but it's arguably more consistent than trying to do it the original way. Looks like both of them got it just fine. Trojan also got a nice ghost door going into the second mini-boss of Ginso, and Bob not far behind.
Indeed, XepiccatX went for some very interesting Hetfield level strats there in the key room where he damage boosted on the left side spikes, which is not what most people do. And he also did a double bash off one of the mortar worm projectiles. Also, very good job collecting the XP there without having to wait too long. So he's just a couple seconds behind Trojan despite a pretty costly death.
Looks like XepiccatX maybe saved about a second at the key dew point, maybe about lost it again, so they're still about 7 seconds behind Trojan with a slight lead. Trojan got a very, very clean core skip with the fast strats of killing the frog early and absorbing the experience and then dashing over to the corruption, the little purple brambles that you blow up. Now they get to do the escape. This escape is something that, as you've mentioned in other tournament matches, pretty difficult from a casual perspective. My death counter at my casual playthrough is certainly pretty high, but
don't say what you're gonna say, Grim. I know what you're gonna say. Don't do it. It's a mistake. Don't say it.
I'm just gonna quiet down for a minute and enjoy the pretty water.
Oh goodness.
That's what
XepiccatX and Trojan both managing to catch the spider shot, which chased them through that portal. So no time difference here so far. XepiccatX opts to climb up the left side there, where Trojan did not. But it is the same amount of time because they're both counting on cycles. XepiccatX having a little bit of internet troubles, but he does appear to be pretty much on pace. Both of them having very good water escapes here. Trojan not going for a bash off the spider, which you should see XepiccatX go for. Oh, he opts not to go for it either. It doesn't save very much time. I was kind of expecting it to be the kind of thing he would go for, though. But they both make it through. No damage taken on either side. and definitely no deaths.
Boy, I'd be surprised if XepiccatX didn't catch up just a second or two there. We'll find out from the truck in a moment, I'm sure. But man, both of these guys are playing very, very well. I mean, that death by XepiccatX dropped him to be behind Trojan, but not by very much.
Yeah, he's done a very good job. Oh, and we're going to see some hyperspeed from him right now. That will help just a little bit. Yep, not bad. He got a little bit of a bonk there, but he still was able to do a good job to salvage a little bit of movement out of that, and that just saves a little bit of time there. The deficit is currently 5 seconds, which is simply bonkers. Trojan picking up Stomp at 1830, and XepiccatX picking up Stomp at 1835. So we have an incredibly close race right now between two incredibly talented runners, and we're coming to the part of the game where both runners absolutely shine. And we're going to see some really cool stuff from both sides.
I was going to say the run hasn't even gotten as crazy as it's going to get, in my opinion.
Well, we certainly will be hoping not to see any deaths ruin this race. Guys, please, come on.
If you're listening, please don't die. Trojan just got through his drainless, or brainless as we sometimes call it, setup. XepiccatX with a little bit of trouble. I wonder if that was just a misclick. Maybe he didn't feel 100% confidence. That can happen sometimes. Lost him another additional few seconds. So Trojan with a slightly larger lead than he had before. Both of them are going to be coming up to their Kuro cutscene skip before too long. They both have pretty solid consistency on that.
Yes, that's correct.
Need to pull it off here.
Yeah, Trojan has not missed this skip in the tournament so far. XepiccatX has only missed it one time. So we're expecting to see some pretty good performance here. Let's see how it goes. Trojan, no problem, absolutely money. XepiccatX coming up on it momentarily. Trojan's also going to drop a safety save for his 5 energy, and XepiccatX misses it. Ooh, he's going to reload and go for it a second time. If he's able to pull it off on the second time, he will still overall save approximately 4 to 5 seconds compared to watching the cutscene. He does get it the second time, but now that is a very unfortunate time loss.
Right, yeah. XepiccatX also is, I believe, at only 1 health, maybe 3 now since he took the save. He did take damage right after he reloaded his save to try the Kuro cutscene skip again. Probably won't cause him too many problems since they're going to be getting to charge jump soon, or excuse me, charge flame soon, and it'll be restoring their health and energy. But maybe something to keep in mind on his part, but probably won't cause any problems. Trojan, meanwhile, is just continuing his consistent pace as we would expect from him. He's made it to charge flame. He's just kind of barreling along. It's like a straight line, and XepiccatX just needs to try to stay ahead of it at this point.
Indeed, and not just that, but Trojan's also on PB pace at the moment, as he is 11 seconds ahead of his PB at Charge Flame. And XepiccatX coming into Charge Flame looks like the deficit is around 17 seconds. Shoutouts to our truck, as always, doing an amazing job keeping us posted on all the details here. Trojan looked like he did not get the dash glide over the Spirit Tree Spirit Well, whereas XepiccatX did, so that will save him another couple seconds that he definitely needs to take advantage of.
We have also mentioned, however, that Trojan's late game is pretty strong. So, of course, XepiccatX is going to take any time save he can take to catch up again. But I would say, arguably, XepiccatX had a better chance at staying.
Oh, wow. Goodness. Trojan having a very rough time there with those spikes. Now, he is at 1 health, but he did manage to escape. We're going to see if, I'm guessing, a runner like Trojan, he will drop a save, and he does. So that will put him back at 3 HP.
Now, because he dropped that save there, is he going to have to take the Spirit Well, or is that going to mess up his Sorrow Bash / Sorrow Pass energy setup?
He has a couple options. He is coming up to Fast Stompless right now, real quick. We'll just mention, as always, he's trying to redirect the Spider's shot at a specific angle, which looks like he got it. It's going to hit some rocks off screen, but first he has to go all the way back here. Before the shot hits, he needs to collect this cell. He got it. Good job by him. XepiccatX is also on Fast Stompless right now. This would be a huge loss for him if he doesn't get it. I didn't see the angle of his shot, but he gets the cell, and he did get the shot. So they're both still very close to one another.
I literally just breathed a sigh of relief.
Oh, my goodness. But now we're going straight into Sorrow, and Grim, I believe there's going to be a slight strat difference for XepiccatX compared to Trojan, right?
Actually, what is their strat difference? I don't want to talk out of turn here.
Referring to Mini Crazy Juggle.
Oh, sure. So from this point on, after they pick up Feather, these guys will start their little Sorrow Pass journey the same, doing a rocket jump up into Sorrow Bash. Hopefully they have no trouble with Sorrow Bash, but once they get inside, the old route was to climb up Sorrow Pass a little bit, take a frog, and then do a trick called Frog Juggle, where you would bash a frog up and then use your feather to climb up after over and over. There is a slightly...
having a really rough time. He gets in, but XepiccatX gets in as well. They're practically tied. What just happened? Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, they're practically tied, and this is where we see some strat differences. Trojan is going to go for the original strats. He's going to make a safety save, go and get his frog, and then go on his merry way. XepiccatX is also going to get the same frog, but after they get it out, Trojan is going to be doing the traditional frog juggle, and XepiccatX going to do what we sort of call mini crazy juggle. He's going to be doing the strat where he charge dashes at the frog and cancels it 2 frames later. He hit it once.
Yeah, so he's going to go up the rest of the way. This is the reason he does mini crazy juggle, as we call it, using the second frog, because if he accidentally damages it, he has the option to just switch back to normal bashes, so he's still okay. Both of them coming in for their rocket jump. No problem. They are coming up to the top at the same time, but Trojan got a slightly better rocket jump, so they are neck and neck here as they're coming into the Sunstone. Oh my goodness.
I can't believe this. They are so close. Wow.
There's no words for this right now. They are in the same skip right now. They are both just waiting to pick up the Sunstone, and then they will level an ability, which will cause the game to think that the cutscene's over, so they're skipping it entirely.
My goodness. I want to say I saw maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds tops between them there. That is insane. Now yeah. The hard part isn't over yet. All of these spikes will one-shot them, even at 4 health. Looks like XepiccatX made it to the door with a save off for a ghost door. Trojan not far behind. Oh man, this is unbelievable.
I have to wonder if Trojan's a little bit nervous here because he seems to be playing slightly, not conservatively, but just a little bit like, you know, you see those little things in his movement where it looks like he's a little bit tentative. XepiccatX managed to take another couple seconds lead coming out here, but he's having a little bit of trouble with some of this movement. Skirting those spikes really close. Oh, he does some stomp cancels in the middle of the spikes.
The absolute madman.
And he has to know, and remember that Trojan is not watching this race. He has no idea this is this close, but XepiccatX is. He knows. He knows exactly what's happening here.
Please just drop a safety save. Please let it be.
Oh my goodness. Both runners are going for the 5 energy route, XP route, which means they both pick up that XP on the way down, which they just did. And Trojan does drop a safety save. I have not seen one from XepiccatX yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to take over the rest of the commentary. My heart just stopped beating.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, mine is pounding a mile a minute. This is pretty crazy. We are told by the truck that I'm not sure what the truck is telling. He did make one. Okay, there we go. So he did make a safety save on the Altar in Misty, so he does have that to go back to.
Meanwhile, looks like XepiccatX is... I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, dude.
Okay. XepiccatX pulling away a little bit. I think that it'd be fair to say that their skill levels are pretty comparable. Both of these guys are very, very good at this late game. But XepiccatX with a little bit of a better execution, Trojan with a little bit of trouble earlier. So XepiccatX going to reach climb first. We'll find out the exact differential between them when they get there. It's still not very much, I'll tell you that.
That is for sure. And I think if you're behind Trojan in a race, I think we're hearing that 6 seconds, by the way. Good Lord. If you're behind Trojan in a race, I think there's some amount of, as you come to the late game, you've got to have a little bit of fear because you have to take some risks to catch up to him. And Trojan's extremely consistent and not the fastest, but very fast at the late game, as you're going to see. But if you're ahead of Trojan, you have to feel confident that you can play slightly better than him if you're a player like XepiccatX. Just a slight difference in terms of his skill level, where I think XepiccatX might be able to pull away from him here. But we're going to see. Trojan is keeping up. Neither of the runners is blinking so far. They're both playing extremely well.
God, they make this section look so easy. These spikes do 3 damage, so they won't one-shot you like the ones in Sorrow Pass do, but they'll drop you down to 1 health, and if you had previously taken any unintentional damage, you'll die. But so far, so good. They just make it look like a breeze. XepiccatX picked up another keystone. He's going to be on his way to the mini-boss, and Trojan not far behind. Once we get to the mini-boss, you can execute it in a few different ways. Trojan tends to go for the safer approach of just taking him out one at a time, whereas XepiccatX, I'd be shocked if we didn't see him go for one of the fast strats.
No, it looks like he's going for the old school as well. So both runners will be using the same strat here, where they just take one mini-boss out at a time. It is very, very safe compared to any of the other alternatives, but Trojan opted to turn back and take a safety save. Unfortunately, in a race this close, that's kind of a questionable move.
Oh my goodness, XepiccatX just took a little bit of damage. Hopefully won't cause him too many issues with that safety save. Trojan is a little bit further behind. Trojan needs XepiccatX to make a mistake here. Now, XepiccatX is on his way. He's going to go to the Spirit Well and teleport back to Blackwood Burrows and go to Lost Grove in order to get the final skill of the game, Light Grenade, which until very recently was absolutely useless. Not so much the case anymore.
Yeah, that is for sure. We have a new trick courtesy of Hitachi Hex, which was unveiled in our tournament race back on Sunday between Stefu and Ella Jiminy, and it's called Grenade Jump, and basically you use the grenade dropping animation while charging a wall charge jump to prevent the game from slowing you down as you do that charge jump. XepiccatX taking little damage as he's going down towards Light Grenade. It shouldn't be a huge deal unless he really freaks out here or anything, but he should be okay. A little bit of an internet hiccup. He sets up his save. He's going to do a save anywhere, much like with the Sunstone cutscene, so he'll skip this cutscene that is 70 seconds long. Obviously, we'd be run over for either of these runners if they missed it, but I would not expect that to happen. Now that I've jinxed them, I'm sure it'll happen.
That was very, very clean by XepiccatX. Both of them got the Yoka cycle, which at one point we thought was really, really hard, and now we just think it's very rare if anyone doesn't get it. But Trojan got his cutscene skip through the prejudiced Naru Father, the other character in the game. Got through it just fine, so Trojan's still with time to catch up. This is going to come down to, it's probably going to come down to door open grenade jump.
Indeed. We're going to see those two tricks. The run's definitely not over by any stretch. XepiccatX managing to get that good rocket jump past that laser there and then just play it a little bit safe. He might have been able to go slightly faster, but he opted to be safe. Trojan's coming up to that same thing momentarily. He won't go for that rocket jump, so he'll play it a little safe as well. And yeah, door warp and grenade jump are just two tricks in the last 2 minutes of the run, both of which are frame perfect. They can easily cause you some very significant difficulties. So we're going to see if either runner is going to have problems with those as we get there.
Oh my god. If you're not paying super close attention, I would say increase the amount of attention that you're paying, because this is going to be down to the wire.
Unminimized, friends. Make sure you're watching the stream. Also, we should mention that Trojan right now is 10 seconds ahead of his PB while being 10 seconds behind in this race. So he has a chance, if this goes well for him, he has a chance to both PB and win the race if door warp and grenade jump are not kind to XepiccatX.
Okay, XepiccatX has made it to the door. He has to wait for the little cutscene, then he'll enter. The game will play a small cutscene where a sign shows you around the dungeon that you're going to entirely skip. The game will save automatically, and then he'll quit. What he's going to be trying to do is press up to enter the door on the frame the game loads, and this is a 60 FPS game. Here we go. First try.
First try for XepiccatX. Here we go.
Wow.
Trojan coming in... a little bit of a flub on the charge jump there, but Trojan's coming into Mount Horror. It's his try as well for door warp. He is very consistent at this trick. First try for Trojan as well. Oh my goodness. It's going to come down to grenade jump, and XepiccatX for sure knows that Trojan is breathing down his neck right now, so he can't, even if he wanted to, cannot skip this trick. It saves 35 seconds. He's got to go for it.
Oh my goodness, I cannot handle this. XepiccatX making short work of the escape. He's going to beat a laser cycle. What you're going to see him do is he's going to not do the traditional fish strats that you've grown to love and either, well, love or hate, but he's going to be clinging to a wall, charging up a charge jump, and then trying to launch off of it and throw a grenade. I think 2 frames later. Is that right? Maybe one frame later? One frame later. 1 frame later.
Set it up momentarily. This is very position specific as well as timing specific with the frame perfect input. If he messes it up, it could soft lock his game. Here we go.
Wow.
First try. That is successful. He is going to go away with the victory here in this race with an amazing last second performance there. Trojan is coming up to his grenade jump. He is going to do the same thing. He's got the position. He's got the aim. He gets it first try. And his was good too. Oh my goodness.
Dear
what a
God. I'm not allowed to swear, but what a hecking performance that was.
And there you see what a huge amount of time that saves, as we are already at the end of the hold right section. XepiccatX is about to finish, and he is going to finish with a 32:45. Incredible time for him. Congratulations on the victory, and moving on to the round of 4, the semifinals of the tournament. Trojan is also holding right now. He is going to PB again with a 33:01. Congratulations to Trojan on his PB. And what an amazing, incredible, breathtaking race we just experienced.
They both got a perfect first try grenade jump in this pressure.
Wow.
Effing G, my goodness.
My heart is beating a mile a minute. What an absolutely incredible race. At 16 seconds, that is one of the closest races of the tournament. Definitely having this in the round of 8 is just, it's beyond anything I could have expected. I really, for sure, I knew that this was going to be a great race, but I did not expect this.
Neither did I. I mean, we knew it was going to be close, but to be honest, it's not that you ever want to see mistakes, but I was expecting sort of a similar situation to Trojan versus Roos. I was expecting Trojan to fall behind a little bit in the early game, and then either XepiccatX to just continue through and win by a little bit, or to make a mistake, and XepiccatX did make a mistake. To be honest, about halfway through this race, I was thinking XepiccatX took his death. That might be all that Trojan needs if he just keeps his consistency, but I mean, XepiccatX just, I mean, he just played so well to bring that back. The biggest mistakes in this run were still very minor. I mean, both of those times, 32:45 and 33:01, not only were they only 16 seconds apart and Trojan PB'd, but I mean, XepiccatX was only 30 seconds off his PB. That's just incredible.
It really is.
I don't know what else to say. I'm sort of at a loss for words, except to just sort of, I don't know, salivate over how good that race was.
I agree. It was exactly kind of what we expected in some ways. Trojan did take an early deficit a little bit. XepiccatX had one death in Ginso that turned it around. Trojan was able to hold on to that lead for a little bit, but XepiccatX, with his slightly stronger overall play, was just able to keep inching back in. They managed to come to a tie despite some of the problems XepiccatX had with the Kuro cutscene skip and also with Drainless. Even then, on Sorrow Bash, that is, he managed to pull it even, and that is despite the fact that he was nervous about Sorrow Bash. He has been having trouble with that trick, but from there on, it was just his extremely strong late game play, and he, oh my goodness.
Well, I'll say this too: if either one of them was nervous or stressed or whatever, it did not show. I mean, that performance was incredible. You could see little hints at their nerves at different places, but what matters is that through their practice and their consistency and their dedication to playing this silly video game, they were able to pull that off. We are going to be interviewing not one, but two people. I was going to make some joke there. We're going to be interviewing both XepiccatX and Trojan here. Ordinarily, we might just interview the winner, but I mean, we have to talk to both of them. That was too good.
We are all winners today, and so we do have them both here. We will start with you, XepiccatX. Congratulations on your incredible victory in a ridiculously close race. Just tell us what you are feeling and thinking right now.
Well, I put this in the race chat, but I'm actually dead right now.
I'm
physically not alive anymore.
How are you going to participate in the semifinal?
Trojan was really lucky in that he wasn't watching the stream during that, and I was, and my heart can't handle anymore.
Yeah, that was a very, very tense race. I mean, I guess take us through what you were thinking at different points in the race, because you obviously did get to take a look over at your phone and see how the race was progressing. What were your thoughts at different points, and like at what points did you start getting extremely nervous?
All right, so I started really taking notice at how close it was around Grotto and Double Jump. And like, I missed the blind movement off of Double Jump because I was too busy checking to see if Trojan got God Cycle. And then after that, I was sort of following along the whole time. And as soon as I died in Ginso, I was like, oh crap, he's ahead. I need to start kicking it up a bit. And so from there, it was just half divided attention between the game and my phone until I caught up at Sunstone, and then it was full on just I need to get through the rest of this. No stopping.
No stopping, indeed. I just wow. Grim, throw a question out here because I can't even right now.
Okay, well, out of the 4 people we have in voice chat, 2 of them are now dead. For the remaining 2 of us that are alive, Trojan, even though you lost that one, how are you?
You know what? I feel absolutely fantastic right now because I told myself that, like, after I just got like the mini PB a little earlier today, I'm like, all right, if I actually get a clean run, like maybe a couple minor mistakes, I can get a 33 flat or a sub 33. And I essentially, like, I thought that it was funny because after I completely spaghettied wall jump, like I was like, all right, well, this is going to take a little more effort. Let's kick it up. So then I just like, I pretty much, as I was getting through BRB and I pretty much got to the laser cycle way early. And that was the point where just kind of like, it clicked for me. I'm like, all right, I'm in game mode. Let's go.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt, Religion. I have a question for both of you. I don't just want to keep asking how do you feel over and over, but I mean, I have to ask from our perspective, and I'm sure for all the viewers, it was close the whole time, and then it stayed close, and it never stopped being close. And then you got to grenade jump, and I mean, XepiccatX, you got there first, so we were thinking, and as we were sort of mentioning in commentaries, like if you had messed it up once, you could have given it another shot, but that could have given Trojan the chance to catch up. You're right on each other's necks. How were you feeling, given that the trick is still relatively new, and I guess how confident did you feel about it?
I've said this before. I have zero confidence in that trick. I'm not a fan of that trick at all because it's sort of like,
dude, I love that trick, man.
It's like it doesn't matter if you've been 30 seconds ahead the whole race. If you mess up one frame, then you're donezo. But I got it first try, and that was like lifting a couple of elephants off my chest, so that was nice.
I believe it.
Trojan, I guess, same kind of question, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I'm actually a big proponent of grenade jump. There's a huge meme out in the Ori community that I've always loved light grenade as an ability. No matter how useless to everyone else it is, it creates some really swag strats. So when I found out about this like ability, I was like, all right, this is gonna be sick. I'm gonna totally practice this and I'm gonna get semi-consistent at it. And I got to the point where I can get it like second or third try usually, but kind of just as an overall, like in the race, I got there and I knew my pace obviously. And I'm like, all right, if I don't, I'm just like feeling it right now. If I literally don't get this first try, I don't know what's going on. So I pretty much set it up. Like that was probably one of the cleanest setups I've ever had for the trick and just like executed it flawlessly.
Very, very good job.
Yeah.
Agreed. Congratulations to both of you on not just, having an amazing race, not just pulling that trick off first try, but just in general, both of you played so well that it was everything we could have hoped for. I'm going to go back to you, Brian, and just ask, your opponent is the winner of Hetfield versus Raziel. Go ahead for us and call who you think will win that match, and then express your thoughts about that upcoming matchup.
I'm just gonna say it doesn't matter who wins because I'm dead, so I can't play either of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I think that Hetfield will win. Not that Raziel is bad or anything, but I mean, you kind of have to expect a robot to win. And then going forward, I'm going to lose to Hetfield in a spectacular spaghetti fest. And then Hetfield's going to win the whole thing, and I'm not going to feel bad about that.
Well, that raises the question. Are you going to feel bad if he beats you but then doesn't win the whole thing?
No, not really. Because he has to play either, Sigma, Hydra, Elo, or Terra. And, I would lose to them in a giant spaghetti fest as well, so...
Well, that does, bring up the point that this is an insanely loaded field. Our round of 8 has 8 of the absolute most talented Ori runners in the world, and then also not in the round of 8, there's a bunch of the most talented runners in the world as well. So we just have this pile of ridiculously talented people, and it's really a treat. And I expect that some of these other matches coming up are going to be as amazing as this one was. I really look forward to watching them.
Same here.
Sorry, can I interject for 1 second? I just want to say that after I saw XepiccatX PV earlier, I was thinking, all right, I really have to pull out all the stops, and I pretty much did what I could to put up a fight, and I just actually think he's really downplaying himself. I think if Headfield makes mistakes, I actually think he has a good shot of beating him. After everything I've seen, I think if Headfield makes 1.5 major mistakes, he can beat him. I will say that with the utmost confidence.
1 won't do it, but 1.5. That's what you need.
Well, I'm thinking about maybe a major mistake being 30 to 45 seconds is a major mistake. If he does about another 15 to 20 second mistake, I think that XepiccatX has a shot.
Well, not to take over again, but I just wanted to say one more thing, which is that it's sort of an unfortunate side effect of any tournament that you have to cut out some people that are in some of the top places in the world just based on the matchups you have earlier. But one thing I think is interesting is we always talk about Het being a robot and how he's going to take it, and no disrespect to Het whatsoever. I mean, he's the world record holder. He is incredible at this game. But I think in all seriousness, it is really interesting. All of these top runners, the ones we have in our remaining round of 8 matches, and then the semifinals and the finals going forward, everyone I think is so close to each other that a little bit of nerves, a little bit of mistakes, like you said, Trojan, could just turn the tide. So even for someone as good as Hetfield, he's going to have to bring his A game, I think, for all of these matches coming up. And it's not like he's unaware of that, but I'm just so excited to see what's going to happen.
I agree. It's going to be amazing. All of the action is going to be here on the Speed Gaming channel. Unless something catastrophic happens in terms of conflicts with Link to the Past. But so far, so good. I'm really looking forward to all those matches. Our next one is going to be tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We are going to be featuring... Crap, who are we going to be featuring? It's Het.
I don't know. I'll have to pull up the...
I'm pulling it up. It's Het. Yes. Okay.
We are professional.
That matchup between Hetfield and Raziel, that is coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It is the quarterfinals from the Ori division, as you see on screen there. The winner of that match will play our winner today, XepiccatX, in the semifinals. And we're going to have that match brought to you by Trojandude himself and Richard, who is our illustrious truck person today, and thank him very much for the incredible amount of work he's done, including during today's match to help us out from the truck. Grim, any parting thoughts about today's race?
How cool is that new intro?
It is extremely cool.
We didn't spoil ourselves. We purposefully didn't watch it. So when we do the rewatch, we're going to watch it. So it's going to be great. Also, I'm really excited to actually commentate with Richard tomorrow.
It'll be a good time. In all seriousness, fantastic job by both of you. This game is impossible, and you made it slightly less impossible. So very, very solid job. And congrats on your win, Bob.
Thanks, Grim. And also, while I'm here, Trojan and Roos and I made a bet at the start of the bracket stages. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if I don't call them out right now, they'll never fulfill that bet.
Oh, no. Come on. Really?
So the two of them are going to be performing a duet of Snow Halation from Love Live at some point in the next few weeks. And that'll be there for viewing pleasure.
Yep.
Oh, God. Okay, now I'm actually dead.
So we can look forward to that one as well.
Well, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again to XepiccatX on the victory tonight over Trojan. Both of you guys did a fantastic job. Grim, as always, it's a pleasure to commentate with you.
Same to you, dude.
And we will be playing our outro and then handing you guys off to a cool stream that you guys should go watch. So thanks for watching and have a good night.
Later.
He's going to kill it far, far away from this door where he actually needs to level up. And then he's going to dash to the door, the XP chasing him. He gets the energy, he opens the door, and that is amazing.
Exactly. I think it's probably one of the most stupid threats that we have.
Oh, goodness, Monkley with the dodge. That was...
I like floating laser turret, which you can imagine what that is. But yeah, I think they didn't mean for anybody to ever see these.
Oh.
Did you just see what Rufus did in that key?
I have never seen that. Is that faster?
Is that faster?
And it's very rewarding as well.
Oh no! He makes it! Wow.
Oh my god,
That was so close to only.
For the 5th energy. So that's going to put a temporary gap in between them. But it's going to... Oh my gosh.
What a nice adaptation to save it.
Races, and you watch someone who doesn't get the rocket jump up towards Sunstone, you might see them.
Whoa! He actually knocked that frog into the wall. He thought he was completely done for, but
He said, I just don't want to die, because if you don't save and you die here, it's real bad. So he's going to be taking a save on this.
Oh, wow. So Trojan got the shot. His shot looked extremely high, but he got it, and that's going to practically level this race right now.
Yeah, as you can see, they're now in the same cutscene, and Terra has to go up to the spirit well.
That's really where you're supposed to need all this wind without using the wind. He also went for a ridiculously risky trick there, where he skipped through that.
spent like 4 minutes in door. Oh, Meldon, can he make it back to the lights? What a beautiful charge dash from Meldon to save himself. That was absolutely insane. And yes, please take that safety step.
All he has to do here is get to the end of the game. That's his only target, whereas Cheese is on his way to Misty Woods. He's going to be going. Wow!
Oh, Rastiel, no! Oh my god, Rastiel, no!
I can't believe it.
Oh my god.
Think about that. So, just little things like that. Strategy getting to, oh goodness. Oh, the laser! Oh god!
Oh man.
Coming out of
Melvin, first miss for Melvin, second miss for Ruben. 3rd attempt, Ruben misses on the 3rd attempt. Melvin misses on the 2nd attempt. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Ruben, 4th attempt, misses. Melvin gets it on the 3rd attempt, and he takes the lead for the first time.
Ruben got it!
But Ruben gets it as well. I'm losing my mind here because they're actually come down execution on the final escape.
Dropping falling trees and boulders, and the whole time Kuro, the main villain, is chasing you, and you have to escape. Wait. Oh no, he bonks unfortunately. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's tight.
This is so close to time. It's a really swag strat that only saves 2 seconds and has the potential to lose you over a minute.
He's going for it again.
He's going for it again. The absolute madman.
Oh my guy.
Here we go. Oh no! Brindle's in the lead! Guys, okay, let's see if Brindle goes for fish strats. If he just plays it safe, he has this in the bag. He can't lose from here. He's not doing fish strats. Brindle's got this.